Iranian cluster bomb strikes caused fresh damage to homes in central Israel, with Israeli reports saying at least 2 impact sites were confirmed. On camera, footage from central Israel showed visible destruction to residential areas after suspected cluster munitions hit. Is this the visual proof on Iran emerging victorious in the war as IDF shield struggles amid interceptor shortage reports? 2 impacts had been confirmed so far in the latest suspected Iranian cluster bomb attack in Israel. Israel suspected an Iranian cluster bomb attack on March 16 after 2 missile impacts were reported, raising fresh fears that Tehran was again using cluster-type warheads against civilian areas. Multiple impact sites were reported in central Israel, with the Times of Israel citing officials and emergency responders who were sent to assess the damage after the latest barrage. It was described as the 3rd such impact since midnight, and the incident set off air raid sirens once again as residents in central Israel rushed for shelter. Footage from central Israel showed visible damage to a home that was reportedly hit in what officials suspected was an Iranian cluster bomb strike, adding to evidence of the destructive pattern of these attacks. No injuries were reported in this particular attack, but similar strikes a day earlier had led to more than 100 injuries, showing how serious the risks remain even when a single barrage causes only structural damage. Sirens were also sounded across the Tel Aviv area, warning residents of incoming attacks as Iran's missile launches continue to trigger repeated emergency alerts. CCTV footage from March 15 showed the moment an Iranian missile struck a street in Tel Aviv, with the blast causing injuries and damage that were later confirmed by emergency responders and police. Subsequently, Iran announced the launch of the 55th wave of Operation True Promise 4 on March 16, signaling that its campaign of repeated missile and drone attacks was still continuing. IRGC statement said, and I quote, "The 55th wave of Operation True Promise 4, codenamed O Musa bin Jafar, dedicated to the exalted martyr Mohammed Ibrahim Hemmat and the martyrs of the Mainun Islands and Talaya, was successfully carried out against targets in the heart of the occupied territories, Tel Aviv and Ben Gurion, including aerospace military production centers and aerial refueling support centers, using high-precision and super-heavy hypersonic Fatah, Ahmad, and Garda missiles, as well as attack drones. Additionally, centers of the terrorist U.S. Army located at Al Dafra Air Base, Jufair Naval Base, and Sheikh Isa Air Base were successfully targeted using medium-range, solid-fuel, precision-guided Fatah, Zulfahar, and Desful missiles, along with smart and attack drones." Unquote. Israel informed the United States last week that it is running critically low on ballistic missile interceptors, raising serious concern about how long its air defense network can keep absorbing sustained Iranian barrages. This warning came as the war with Iran continued, with Semaphore reporting, based on U.S. officials familiar with the matter, that Israel's interceptor stockpile is now under heavy strain. The same reporting said Washington had known for months that Israel's interceptor inventory was already low, while U.S. officials stressed that America's own supplies remain sufficient for its military requirements in the region. "It's something we expected and anticipated," a U.S. official was quoted as saying in reporting that echoed the prior American awareness of Israel's worsening interceptor shortage. U.S. officials also said they still have everything needed to protect American bases, military personnel, and broader strategic interests across the region, indicating that Washington does not believe its own defensive capacity has been similarly weakened. Meanwhile, Iran accused the United States and Israel of using copycat drones to frame Tehran for attacks across the region, claiming that replica versions of Iranian Shah drones were being used in what it described as a false flag campaign.
Attention to all neighboring countries and the Muslim people of the region. The defeated enemy in the military battlefield and in political coalition against Iran has resorted to trickery and deceit and, with a diabolical plot, has copied the Iranian Shah 136 drone and, under a new name, the Lucas drone, attacks unjustified targets in regional countries. The enemy's goal is to foster pessimism and level accusations against the Islamic Republic of Iran. The ultimate aim is to create discord between Iran and its neighbors, thereby undermining the legitimate and legal defensive actions of Iran's armed forces. Governments and nations of the region should know that the Islamic Republic of Iran's defense doctrine against military aggressions by the United States and the Zionist regime is based on a completely legal and logically sound foundation. The Islamic Republic of Iran, as it has repeatedly announced, only targets the centers and interests of the United States and the Zionist regime, and wherever it targets, it takes responsibility for it in an official announcement and will be accountable for its consequences. Examples of these enemy tricks are the malicious attacks on centers in neighboring and friendly countries such as Turkey, Kuwait, and Iraq in recent days, and the attribution of it to the Islamic Republic of Iran's armed forces. The swift and wise reactions of countries' officials to these deceptive and diabolical moves will nip this conspiracy in the bud. Being deceived by Satan and his divisive positions will only encourage him to spread it. Therefore, it is essential that we trust one another and, by maintaining unity and cooperation, make the foreign aggressor enemy regret persisting in these machinations.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.